One of the most unique experiences one feels is the anxiety and the adrenaline rush that comes with the stress of realizing you are in some deep trouble. Whenever one's in stress, it's always a new experience due to the variety of variables causing different problems in our lives. The very fact of feeling stressed shows how it's something new for you and you are uncertain about the future. I personally have had quite a lot of instances of anxiety and split second stress type situations since my childhood due to a few mental issues. The earliest instance of me facing some hardcore level stress and anxiety was when my depersonalization, derealization disorder kicked in. It was triggered by a panic attack I had due to the stupidest reason ever. I mean, I was like 12, so it's kinda understandable, I guess. I suddenly had ear barotrauma, also known as ear plain ear, and I thought I was going deaf or something. I didn't know what was happening to me. It felt odd. It was the first time ever that I had that. So, of course, I panicked. Little did I know that I was panicking so hard that everything started looking like a dream. It was like I was like floating. The feeling I had is indescribable. It felt like I was on autopilot and my existence was beyond my body. Years later, I got to know that it was depersonalization derealization disorder. The worst part about this instance is that it never really went away. This disorder is always there. Even when I'm making this very video, I feel it more than ever. The only difference here, though, is that I know now how to handle it. I'll make a video on this whole topic some other time so that it might help others who are suffering from the very same thing. So after having all that mental breakdown, I was in severe depression and anxiety for like 2 months. Stress was all time high. The thing, however, is that I didn't know how to handle it back then. I just could not face it. I kept running away, and as time passed, it got worse to the point that I couldn't even step outside my house. Now, although after like 3 months, it started getting better for me, for some period at least, though it did come back, and it would keep coming back after like 6 months or a year. So it was like this boogeyman, which if comes would haunt me for weeks or maybe months. Now, on top of that, my own childhood wasn't really the best. I mean, I am grateful for everything, but let's just say I grew up in an environment where violence existed. So anything could have happened, and I was always under stress. Now, although all that wasn't really preferable, but all I can say is that if it were not for such experiences, I would not have had comprehended the reality of feeling stress. The most interesting aspect of stress, as I mentioned above, is the fact that it feels different every single time. It puts that weight on your chest. You feel heavy. You get scared. Your heart starts beating faster than ever. I personally realized most of the times when I was under stress and pressure, I would either get stupidly angry and scared at the same time and do something foolish, or get immensely scared and act like a coward, pleading for his life. The moment I think I realized that I can fight it back and retain my sanity and stand like a man is when I was like 14. I got lost somewhere in a market while I was on my way to buy some books. Now I wasn't that used to going to distances alone due to the agoraphobia I had developed, the cause of which was the mental breakdown which I was talking about. I basically took a bus, the route of which went through the book market as well. The book market arrived, but I wasn't aware that it had arrived and the bus kept going, reaching some far place which I had no idea about, and my stupidity peaked when I sat there for like maybe 2 hours while the book market could have reached in a half an hour. I mean, okay, like in my defense, it was my second time going there, and this time I was alone, so I didn't really know, I guess. When I asked the bus conductor, however, if the book market had reached, he got pissed at me, saying how it had like reached for more than an hour ago. Now it was night, and I was afraid that it was near the time for the buses to stop for the day, and I was like far from my home. The cherry on top was that I had no idea where to catch a bus going to the opposite route so I would reach home. A guy thankfully in the bus guided me and asked me to hurry and catch a bus. Now the street where I was dropped off by the bus was empty. I remember seeing a small chai hotel a bit far. A few street lights were on, but it was probably the emptiest street in the whole market. I later on got to know that it was an alternate route that the bus had taken due to a massive traffic jam. I remember being scared to the point that I was hoping it was a dream. I had never went alone to such distances, let alone getting lost in a place having a considerable distance from my house, and at the same time being in such a place at night. I also had to hurry because the buses might have stopped for the day. The weird part is that if someone were to tell me a month or a week prior to that event that all that was going to happen to me, I would be stressed out even more. Like I would probably lose my sleep at nights thinking about that day approaching, and it would be more amped up for me. But at that moment, however, when I was faced with the problem at hand, I went in and fought it, and I am proud of myself for that. So when I was all worried and scared, a thought came to me. Now, being a big Batman fan at the time, I thought to myself, what would Batman do in such a situation? Would he deny the reality of what was happening to him, or would he find a way out of it? I remember turning my phone on, and there was this wallpaper of Batman on it, which even amped up my motivation tenfolds. It kinda gave me the guts to work it out and find myself a solution to the problem I was given. I got confident to the point that I saw a rickshaw when I was crossing that empty street. I asked the guy if he would take me to the place where I lived. He said yeah, but the payment he asked for the trip was too expensive to me. Not that I did not have the money. I had more than that. It was just that I thought he was asking too much. I tried bargaining with him though, but he flat out declined. So I was like, okay, man, a bit of a bummer, but I'll go find somebody else, and went on to find a bus or something. Eventually, I did find a bus, but got home after like 3 hours or so due to a massive traffic jam. What fascinates me about this whole event was how I went from being so scared that I was hoping it was a dream to literally rejecting my easy way out to home because I thought he asked for a higher price and went on finding a bus. I can confidently say that this event was a straw that broke the camel's back, meaning I learned the structure and the methodology of fighting the demons I had. This very event helped me slowly beat issues prevalent in my psychology and gain over them. I will address the whole journey of mine overcoming my mental issues in another video. Right now, I will focus on the aspect of handling stress. For me, I have to have a certain character or an archetype in my mind when coming across certain situations which might seem too heavy for me. I would think to myself, what would this guy do at the point which I am? Would he run away like a coward or would he face it? As an avid video games player, I got to collect many heroes which would endanger themselves and stand up to adversity just to prove a point, not caring even a single bit about their lives or the consequences of their actions. I got the gist of standing up to my demons and straight up saying no. Doesn't matter in what situation I am. I have to find a way out of it. I can find a way out of it. I rather have to find a way out of it. One of the things to keep in mind is that it's always the case that we during stress anticipate a big loss that we might not be able to bear. When we go through that actual thing, however, it turns out not to be so bad. Now it can relate to anything. I remember having a similar case regarding someone I lost. I had similar cases in a variety of different circumstances as well. It always turned out not to be so bad. It was just that I had anticipated it too much and had stressed myself too much for it. As I addressed in my last video on overcoming sadness, nothing is unbearable. You can always survive. If it won't kill you, it would make you stronger. It is through mistakes that you learn the reality of things and how it works. So try not to take things too seriously. You might be on a brink of losing your loved one. You might be stressed about your exams. Maybe it's about your work, friends, or even a family feud. It is all going to be okay. As I mentioned in my last video, this too shall pass. So guys, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Till then, like my video and subscribe to my channel. Do leave a comment discussing your thoughts. Thanks.